Good evening all. In this video, we are going to see about the problems under the process costing. Problem 1, that is simple 5 marks problems that we are going to see. Totally 6 problems we are going to see. So in the second part, we are going to see 2 problems. Third part, another 2 problems. And the last part, the remaining 2 problems we are going to see. And then now this is the simple 5 marks problem. So please take a screenshot of this question. Now, prepare process accounts from the following details. That is particulars, process 1, process 2, materials for process 1 40,000, process 2 6,000, labor for process 1 15,000, process 2 16,000, direct expenses for process 1 5,000, process 2 3,000. Production overhead rupees 60,000 is to be allocated to process 1 and 2 on the basis of 150% of direct wages. So production during the period 2,000 units. That is input units is 2,000 units. Okay, production during the period 2,000 units means that is what is the input unit. See here, I have opened one format. Here, as per the format, particulars, quantity or units, cost per unit, amount, particulars, quantity, cost per unit, amount. So here, it is just the format only. Suppose if here it is the unit means, here also let it be cost per unit. Suppose here if it is the quantity means cost per quantity, like so actually cost per unit only we used to say, we cannot say cost per quantity. Okay, so but here if it is quantity also you can you can here name it as cost per unit itself. So because there is no such concept called per quantity, so please take this into the consideration. But at the max, if there are units here means then it will be sufficient. Okay, it will be well and good. So particulars, units, cost per unit, amount. Particulars, units, cost per unit, amount. Fine. Now here, what is the main thing that you have to understand here is 3 columns you have to open besides the particulars. Now, here as far as this particular problem is concerned, I have opened only 2 columns. That is cost per unit column I have opened, amount column I have opened, but I have not opened the unit column. Actually, the in one place only you are going to put the units. That is relating to the materials only you are going to put the unit. So you are not going to put the unit relating to the labor, direct expenses or production overhead. So in such a situation, I have not separately opened one particular column as units. But in an examination or when you are practicing the problems, so you can open. It is advisable to open the separate column for unit. Whether you are filling only at one particular place or whether you are filling at all the places, that is immaterial. It is advisable to open one more column as units column. It is highly advisable to open. Please take this into the consideration. Now let us start the problem. So here in question they asked us to prepare process 1 account and process 2 account. We are going to prepare both the accounts, process 1 account as well as process 2 account. Under the process 1 account, so here 2 materials, production during the period 2000 units. That is what is your input to materials. In units column you have to write it as 2000. And then cost per unit, in the problem they have given for process 1 account, material is 40,000. So here how you have to calculate here is, so 40,000 divided by 2020, and then for labor 15,000 divided by 2,000, 7 rupees 50 paisa. And then for direct expenses 5,000 divided by 2,000, 2 rupees 50 paisa. And then here coming to the production overhead, production overhead 60,000 to be allocated to process 1 and process 2 on the basis of 150% of direct wages. Direct wages means, as far as this particular problem is concerned, you see, material is the first information, labor is the second information, expenses within bracket direct is the third information. See, wages is applicable for whom? It's applicable only for the labor. So that is what? On the basis of the direct wages. 15,000 is to, we have to take the ratio. Okay, 15,000 is to 16,000. Okay, now 15,000 for process 1. First we are working out only for the process 1. Okay, so here 150% of the direct wages means 15,000 into 150 divided by 100. Okay, 15,000 into 150 divided by 100. That is what? 22,500. So this 22,500 divided by this 2,000, 11 rupees 25 paise. Okay, fine. Is there any information available? Okay, fine. Now, coming to the credit side. So, as far as this particular problem is concerned, there are two different process accounts. The process 1 account and process 2 account. Balancing figure, you have to transfer it to the process 2 account. So, here you please add all those things. You'll be arriving at 41.41 rupees 25 paisa. And then 40,000 plus 15,000 plus 5,000 plus 22,500 will be arriving at 82,500. So you have to transfer, you cannot transfer it to the finished goods account. You have to transfer only to the process 2 account. So by process 2 account, this is what is the balancing figure, B bar F, transferred to process 2 account. Like that you have to put it within the bracket. And then 41.25, 82,500. Okay. This is about the process 1 account. This is about the process 1 account. Please take a screenshot of this. You can try from your side. Now, let us carry forward with the process 2 account. So here, see, this one, the output of the process 1 account will be the input of the process 2 account. Output will be always in the credit side. Input will be always in the debit side of the process account. So what the property account rule says, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Credit what goes out, output. Okay, that is what it is coming in the credit side. Debit what comes in, input. That is what it is appearing in the debit side of the processor. Hope I made you clear. So while you are opening the process 2 account, so process 1 account output will be the input for the process 2 account. So though you are opening the process 2 account, so in the debit side of the process 2 account, we cannot write it as to process 2 account. We have to write it as to process 1 account. What is the meaning of that here is, that is what I have mentioned in the bracket. So the output of the process 1 account have been transferred to the process 2 account. Okay, transferred from the process 1 account. Like that within bracket I have written. So under any circumstances, under the process 1 account, process 1 account should not appear. Under any circumstances, under the process 2 account, process 2 accounts should not appear. Please take this into the consideration. And then to materials, the same 2,000 units only. There is no doubt about that. So 41.25, 82.500, this input, and then this also input. Okay, it is material 2,000 units. And then finally, see the question. 6,000 they have given for the material for the process 2. 6,000 divided by 2,000, 3. And then for labor, they have given 16,000. Okay, 16,000 divided by 2,000, 8. And then for direct expenses, they have given 3,000. 3,000 divided by 2,000, 1.50. And then for finally, 16,000 they have given for the production overhead, 60,000 to be allocated to process 1 and 2 on the basis of 150% of direct wages. For labor, they have given 16,000. So here, $16,000 into 150 divided by 100. 16,000 into 150 divided by 100. That is how I have calculated here. 24,000. 24,000 divided by 2,012. Okay. Now, you add all those cost per unit column. 65 rupees 75 paisa. And then if you add the amount column means 22,500 plus 6,000 plus 16,000 plus 3,000 plus 24,000 comes to 1,31,500. And then finally process 2 account is the last stage, last process, right? So whatever the output that you have arrived at the process 2 account should have to be transferred to the finished product account or finished stock account or finished goods account, whatever it may be. So by finished product account, the term, the abbreviations account should have to be added here. Acronym, the acronym account should have to be added here. By finished product account, within bracket, balancing figure, that is 65.75, 65 rupees 75 paisa, and then 1,31,500. Okay, this should have to be transferred to the finished goods. So with this particular 5 marks problems comes to an end. For process 1 account, mark will be shared in such a manner. For process 1 account, 2.50 marks will be given. For process 2 account, 2.50 marks will be given. So 5 mark question. So 99% this particular questions will not be asked in 10 marks. So 100% these questions will be asked only in 5 marks. Okay. Please take the screenshot of the solution. This particular problem does not contain any normal loss or abnormal gain or anything else. Okay. The next problems consist of normal loss. Normal loss problem. First, you have to know the meaning of the term normal loss. What do you understand by the term normal loss? As I told you earlier, normal loss means a loss which is occurred in the normal course of business is what is called as normal loss. You see here, normal loss. The other name of the loss is wastage. Normal loss or normal wastage are one and the same. So normal wastage is the theoretical terminology. While you are doing the accounting problem in the debit side, in the credit side, while you are entering the normal loss means, rather than entering by normal wastage account, you can enter it as by normal loss account. Okay. Wastage, loss, both are one and the same only. Loss is the financial and accounting terminology. Wastage is the general terminology, but it can be somewhat used in financial and accounting also. But loss is the proper financial and accounting terminology. Please take this into the consideration. Now, it is a loss which is incurred in the normal course of business. That is what is called as normal loss. Example: mishandling of the machinery. The workers are not being given proper training means they may not know how to handle the machine. So in such a situation, the machinery may get damaged also. And then shrinkage in the machine. breakdown in the machinery. So in many production company, these are all the possibilities are there. So if these are all the problems occurs means these problems comes under the normal wastage. That is normal loss. So normal loss or wastage may be set right by producing the quality units in good numbers. Okay. Normal loss or wastage may be set right by producing the quality units in good numbers. So here, as a production manager, you have to select the efficient labor in your organization. You have to give them proper training, and then you have to fix them proper wages. You have to train them, educate them how to handle the machine. So then only if you give the proper training only, they can produce good quality units in good numbers. So in this way, the normal loss can be set. Fine. Now, wastage. What is the meaning of the term wastage? Wastage means material is lost, shrink, manufacturing process which has no measurable recovering value. Wastage means once the material is lost means lost forever. Okay. So the material went waste means it will be gone forever. So it cannot be recovered under any circumstances. That is what is called as wastage. So the material breakdown. See, the material fell on the floor and broke means one for all, once for all, forever. You have to lose the material. Okay. So there is no measurable recovering value. Suppose if I am throwing this spectacle on the floor, if this particular spectacle breaks means then there is no value for this spectacle. I have to spend additional amount for buying new spectacle, right? So that is all about the concept of wastage. Fine. Scrap means discarded material having a recovery value which is disposed of without further treatment. Scrap means discarded material having a recovery value which is disposed of without further treatment. Certain certain asset that you may be buying after few years, you may be buying, today you may be buying that asset for 15 lakhs rupees, for example. After 10 years, if you want to sell that particular assets means you cannot sell it for more than 15 lakhs rupees. You cannot sell it even for 500 rupees. You may sell it only to the extent of 200 or at the max 100 rupees. Why? Depreciation. Okay. So you have to sell it only at the scrap value. Okay, that is what is called as scrap. So we will see one 5 marks problem under normal loss with scrap value. Normal loss with scrap value. Now, from the following information, prepare process account and normal loss account. Input of raw materials 1000 units at rupees 6 per unit. Direct material 5200. Direct wages 4000. Production overhead 4000. Actual output transferred to process to 950 units. Normal loss 5%. Value of scrap per unit rupees 4 per unit. Okay. This is the standard 5 marks problem you can expect in the examination. Problems like this you can expect in the examination. Okay. See, before proceeding on with the solution, you read the question twice or thrice. Then only you can get the proper understanding about the question. Okay, that is very very important. Now, you take a screenshot of this question. We shall move on to the problem. Please see the problem. Here I have opened 3 columns as I said. So here process accounts. Okay. So only one process account they asked us to open. There is no such account called process 1 account or process 2 account. So we are just transferring from the process 1 account to the process 2 account. That's all. In such a situation, rather than writing just as process account, you can write it as process 1 account. Process 1 account. Okay, process 1 account. Account singular. Now, particulars, units, cost per unit amount. This is the debit side. Particulars, units, cost per unit amount. This is the credit side. Now, to input of raw materials in unit column, you have to mention as 1000, and then in cost per unit column, that is input of raw materials. Input of raw material 1000 units at rupees 6 per unit. That is cost per unit column 6. So 1000 into 6, 6000. Okay. Now direct materials. To direct material, how much? See, here you don't consider the unit column and cost per unit column in this regard. Okay. Here, unit column and cost per unit column is applicable only for input of raw material 1000 units at rupees 6 per unit. Okay. For direct materials, direct wages, production overhead and all, you need not consider unit column and cost per unit column. Okay. Now, 5200. Okay. To direct wages, as they have given in the question, 4000. And then production overhead, as they have given in the question, 4000. Have they given any other information? Actual output transfer to process to 950 units. That is final finished stock account. Normal loss 5% they have given. Okay. And then value of scrap per unit, rupees 4 per unit they have given. So normal loss, see, always normal loss and abnormal loss comes in the credit side of the process account. Abnormal gains only will be coming in the debit side of the process account. Again, I repeat, always normal loss and abnormal loss comes in the credit side of the process account. Only the abnormal gains will be coming in the debit side of the process account. Please don't confuse with this. So now, as far as this particular problem is concerned, so it involves only the normal loss. Now, normal loss, 5%. 5% of what? 5% of input. Normal loss, you see, 5% of what? Input. What is the input here? This 1000. So 1000 into 5 by 100. 50. In unit column, you have to write it as 50. And then here, scrap. Value of scrap per unit, rupees 4 per unit. Okay. 4 in cost per unit column, 4 per unit. 50 into 4, 200. Understood? Any other information left? No other information. This is what is the information. Fine. Now we have to balance it. Okay. Now you add the debit side. That is 1000. Units column 1000. Okay. See, don't consider the cost per unit column. Okay. Don't add and put the cost per unit column. This not essential. Okay. So you have to consider only for balancing purpose. You have to consider only the unit column and amount column. Okay. Again, I repeat. Under the process account for balancing purpose, you have to consider only the unit column and the amount column. You need not consider the cost per unit column. Okay, fine. Now, 6000 plus 5200 plus 4000 plus 4000, 19,200. Okay. Now, coming to the credit side, already you have balanced this one. By so here, output should have to be transferred to the process account. So, by output or by process to account. Rather, you write it as output. You can write it as by process to account. So within bracket, you can write it as output transfer to process to account. Like that, you can write it. Output process to account. Now, 1000 minus 50, 950 units column. Okay. Don't worry about the cost per unit column. Leave it as blank. Okay. Now, 19,200 minus 200, 19,000. Now, how you will be calculating the cost per unit column? 19,000 divided by 950. 0 cancel. When you use the calculator, you will be arriving at 20 as the cost per unit. That's all. Not more than that. This problem comes to an end. Now, what you have to do here is, please take the screenshot of this problem. In order to take the screenshot, I am making you to feel convenient so that you can take the screenshot easily. It is what I am erasing. Okay. Fine. Please take the screenshot of this problem. Now, this is the problems which I have given for practice. The same 5 marks problem only. This problem, all of you see from the following data: prepare process account, material that is input 500 units, amount 10,000, labor 8,000, indirect expenses 7,000, normal loss 5% of input, scrap value rupees 31 rupees per unit. So, like how I have done the previous problem, similarly, all of you do this particular problem in your notebooks and then please update your answer in the comments box. Let me verify and give you the feedback. Okay. Please take a screenshot of this problem. So kindly subscribe my channel. Kindly all of you view and subscribe my channel. I will do more videos in future. Thank you for your cooperation. Let us meet in the subsequent session.